Hello guys, it's Wyatt, and today I'm doing an introduction to the ideas on rescuing your father from the belly of the beast. As many of you know, I'm a big Jordan Peterson fan. I owe him uh, a lot in my life because he's done a lot for me. And all you JBP fans know this is kind of a story he comes to. So personally, I wanted to kind of collect a lot of these ideas, put them out there into a visualization, and later I'm going to be going through step by step and trying to practice incorporating them into my lives. But first, I wanted to do this basic introduction. So here are some of the ideas that I've written down and gathered from a lot of his videos. First of all, it's hard not to have the confidence or encouragement of your father. That's pretty much going to set up why this whole idea is important. Also, the willingness to admit that you aren't all that you could be and how you're a degenerate jackass will drive you to search for all your father represents. Humility means I still have something to learn and is the antidote to arrogance. If you look long enough into an abyss, then the abyss looks into you. But if you look past when the abyss looks into you, then you see who you could become in the form of the great ancestral figures nestled inside the catastrophe of life. Then you can join them and incorporate that and become stronger. The sea represents the unconscious. If you face fears and challenges voluntarily, a little bit at a time, then you become more than who you are. Incarnation of Spirit of the Father is the Father. Prey in the belly of the whale. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. That's actually partly from the Bible, from the story of Jonah and the whale. God hears, and whale vomits Jonah onto dry land after 3 days. The dragon lives under the water, which is the unconsciousness or being unaware, produces chaos, and you don't know what to do to face it. The full terror of life, the reality of suffering and death, and the ever-looming presence of malevolence in your heart and the heart of other people, that's evil and suffering, risk damaging your vision or making you blind. If you lose respect for Spirit of the Father, it is likely to transform you into a slave. It takes something of transcendent power to rise above the suffering of life, confront and transcend, be honest and courageous. That's in reference to the Bible story. The whale or the dragon is the thing you have to conquer to get something of value. While in the belly of the whale, Geppetto has to figure out how not to starve as well as how to get out. Focusing on the micro problem could make you blind. So that's also partly not being able to see, right? The threat of the whale, the greatest threat is a blinding threat. The father needs the son to rescue him as the son needs the father, like wisdom that needs you to animate it. Each of us are embodiments of ancestral spirits. Maybe you get to rise up from the underworld of chaos after you've figured out what to do, if you're lucky. Who you could be is the solution to malevolence and suffering. The human being is actually stronger than the greatest challenge that can be set before him or her. Now I'm going to go through and walk you through this diagram that I made that will help you visually represent and kind of lay out what I've kind of broken down into these basic steps of rescuing your father from the belly of the beast. So you start here. You're maybe on dry land. Maybe you're safe. you're comfortable. Maybe you're actually swimming. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're just right there at the top of the water. But most likely, you're on dry land. Voluntarily look at yourself. Be honest and courageous, humble, willing to learn, acknowledging you aren't all you could be, and have respect for the Father. So that's a starting place, having respect for the Father. Looking at yourself honestly, openly, looking for where you're wrong, being humble, willing to admit you have mistakes. That's the first step. Then, the second step is you're going to look again. This is looking at the reflection of yourself. This is partly looking past the reflection into the abyss. You have to take a second look. You have to look long enough to see past just the mere reflection. Look again at yourself, past your reflection, into the darkest place of life, into the unconscious. So, that's the C here. That is the reflection of yourself in the sea of unconsciousness. That's what you're looking past and looking into. Then you get to the next step, number 3. Say a prayer, incorporate spirit of transcendence, and then you can confront and slay the beast. That's step 3. Confront and slay. So, underneath the sea of reflection, I guess I'm missing things here. You have all of the terrors of life. You have malevolence, evil, suffering, mortality, and death. So that's what you're dealing with. It's like the greatest problem that can be set before you in life, or just the general terrors of life that we all face. But you have to incorporate the spirit of transcendence. That would be the truth that you started telling yourself up here. That is the Logos. That is God. That is the Spirit that's able to redeem and transform and transcend. The transcending Spirit. That's the part of saying a prayer. That's why Jonah, when he was in the whale, they mention he prayed for 3 days. So that's important. It's not just that you bring everything to the table that you can bear, but it's also the fact that you ask for the Logos, for God to become a part of you in a transforming, transcending way that allows you to confront this, the beast, the whale, the dragon, the greatest challenge that can be set before you in life, and what you must conquer in life. That's all of your fears, problems, threats, challenges. These are the things that are just lurking in the subconscious, in the unconscious. So, and it's down here in the deepest, darkest part of the unconscious, which is hell and chaos. That's where it's lurking. So that's what you're going to have to contend with. And that's why you're not just bringing everything that you can bear on the problem. You're also asking God to come into your life in a way that you incorporate it and you transcend, and then you willingly confront. That's going to be step 4. Incorporate. Oh no, that's still part of step 3, is where you willingly confront and slay the beast. It has to be willingly. You have to look at it. You have to name it. You have to know what you're going up against. And you have to say a prayer, because just what you bear alone, it's so terrifying. It's so dark. that you just can't even bear to look at it. You don't stand a chance to contend with it. But if you develop yourself, tell yourself the truth, look at yourself, go deep, and then you can incorporate that and try and slay that. So, step 4, you are going to, inside of this beast is the sleeping father. That was Geppetto and Pinocchio. And those are your ancestral spirits. That's the spirit of your father. That's the spirit of all of your ancestors that came before you. That's what you have to rescue and incorporate into your life. So, you have to incorporate the father and the ancestral spirits. And then, if you're lucky, like it says, if you're lucky, if you've slayed the dragon and you're lucky enough, you incorporate all of that. Then you get to step 5 over here. Then you get to become all you are. And you have to keep good what you vowed to make good. Keep good the vows that you made to make good. So it's pretty much like not turning your back. Having respect for the spirit that saved you, that allowed you to transform. So keep that spirit incorporated in your life. Become all you can be. Become the strongest version of yourself. You'll be lucky if you get to go there. So that's it. I've laid it out right here. And I'm going to be doing more videos where I actually try and go show what it might look like going through that process. The first one, I think I know how. I think that maybe, I don't want to say it's the easiest, but it seems to me the most obvious of what that would look like. I could be wrong, but I think I can do step 1. I'm going to be doing another video coming shortly on what that would look like. So thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned for these other parts. I'm talking diddly cat, I'm talking very clean, I'm talking didn't home, I'm talking didn't rock, I'm talking about the 44s on the 45.